money, it's adventure, it's fame, it's the thrill of a lifetime. So go the immortal worlds of Carl Denham from that really awesome classic film. And that is what we got in here in episode 6 of our Italian Holocaust, the films between 79 and 94. It's really tough to decide, the trajectory of this and what do I do next. And I think a lot of it is just, what do I feel like doing? And it's interesting, for the longest time over the summer, especially the film you see behind me, and of course you already know in the title, Antonio Margheriti's 1979 Killer Fish, or otherwise known as Treasure the Piranha, or I think there was probably 2 or 3 other titles to this. It's been on my mind. I've always wanted to pick up a copy, and unfortunately, Scorpion releasing had put it out on Blu-ray. I should have grabbed it when the getting was good. No, I had to settle for the DVD because I think the Blu-ray is out of print. I just looked on Amazon and it is not there for you to get. But the DVD by Scorpion releasing still is. And I would say, it's 17 and change, and that is a lot for a DVD, especially an older movie. But as Jim Harper says in his Italian horror book that I like to showcase from time to time, as he says, if you are a fan of Italian exploitation, or perhaps you're a fan of Lee Majors and had no idea that Lee Majors was in this movie, the $6 Million Man. And if you're my age, you grew up with that. I mean, I had the Bionic Man toy. The toys in the 70s were priceless. Or perhaps you're an NFL fan, old school Houston Oilers fan, Pastorini, the quarterback who, led the way under, oh crap, I'm going to forget his name now. It's right down the tip. But Earl Campbell was the running back. Anyways, Pastorini, he's in this thing, right? Or maybe of recent, because you're a Rob Zombie fan. There's not many of us, but maybe, the fact that Karen Black is Mother Firefly in the House of a Thousand Corpses. She's in this thing, man, and does fabulous. Maybe you're a fan of miniatures. Maybe you're a fan of Antonio Margheriti, or Anthony Dawson, as his name comes across the credits here. It is Margheriti. Really, he's got a huge filmography, man. But, at the top of the list, at least for me personally, Cannibal Apocalypse, The Long Hair of Death, I think from 64, maybe 65. Battle of the Worlds, which I just reviewed recently for BodyBags, or, back a few weeks at least. But I mean, war, adventure, it is. In this movie, man, this movie packs it all. Now, one of the things that made me jump on this, I got a gift card, and I was just looking at a few films to pick up. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this movie in earnest, I guess, is because Mr. Harper, now, I love the fact he put this book out. I love the fact that he's inspired me and motivated me to want to do something like this. But man, he does not treat this movie very well, man. He thinks it's one of, at minimum, it's one of Margheriti's lesser films in terms of just the overall scope of it, the miniatures involved. I love this. Now, Harper at the end of his review, does throw out there, unless you're an Italian exploitation fan, or you're a fan, say, of, any one of the characters, it is nostalgia for you. This is definitely going to be enjoyed, but under the surface, beyond the piranha, there's going to be some spoilers. I'm going to leave a lot of that, but I mean, it's hard to get around the fact that there are piranha. But let's start there, man. The film does a really good job. If you avoid the advertising, if you avoid some of the spreadsheets for it, the marketing, they do a good job of hiding, at least for a while, what's underneath and why that which is underneath is underneath. It does a good job of holding that out a little bit. It's not, this movie is really, and if you really want a good review, the Bloody Pit podcast did a really good podcast on it. But it's, I agree with so much of what they said, but it's like, this movie really it opens up with an incredible heist led by Lee Majors and company. Karen Black is part of it. Now she's got a relationship with James Franciscus, if that's how you say his name, who plays Paul. He is like the mastermind of this heist, right? I mean, okay, I'm gonna start to be careful here. We open up with him playing a pretty serious game of backgammon where there's, and I remember, man, my dad was a big player of that game. And, you know, pretty high stakes there, man. But his team that he's put in place is presently involved in a huge heist. Now, this film was filmed in Brazil. It is an Italian, French, Brazilian production. So, you know, you got a lot of things in here, man. And if you do pick up this copy or have this copy, and you've never watched the interview with Pesce, who plays Warren, him and his brother in here, they're part of the heist team, and they're after jewels, right? If you listen to his interview, man, it just, I mean, for somebody like him, the set was kind of chaotic with the languages, and of course, Antonio speaking Italian. You know, it is a fun interview done by William Lustig. But, so, they're after jewels. Man, I'm telling you, this is one of the neatest, now, miniatures galore. Some of it holds up, some of it may not hold up as well, but it is fun. I would rather watch sketchy miniature work or miniature work that doesn't hold up very well. I would rather watch that than bad CGI any day of the week. And this is fun, man. So it opens with a huge heist, right? They're after jewels. They set off explosions galore and everything. I mean, I'm telling you, the movie just boom, right? And that's one of the things Harper had a problem with, is the pacing of this movie. Maybe on your very first time watch, not knowing where things are going, I could see that. But on the second, third, multiple viewings, I don't know. It's just almost kind of like, it seems like the pacing issue, if there is, sort of disappears because you sort of know what's coming. And actually, I was rewatching it last night with my wife, and I was surprised at just how, you know, quickly I was thinking to myself, dang, we're like halfway through already. Now, I think that comes with multiple views, and some may see a pacing issue. They may, you know, be tempted with getting a little bored, and it's only because you got three main pieces here. You got the heist at the beginning that sets things up. They drop the jewels in on an upper part of a dam, and for safekeeping, right? They rendezvous, meet up at a location where we're back with Paul, the mastermind of this thing, and him and Karen Black, Kate. They have a relationship there. Now, he has masterminded this thing, and they don't all agree. But Lee Majors, Karen Black, characters, and Paul, they agree. 60 days, man, because this is a huge heist. The Brazilian police are out in force, and they're just going to lay low. And, well, let's see. This is where it gets tough, man. So, then you get into the middle piece of the film, where you think of Sam Raimi's A Simple Plan. Think of that movie. Okay, so for well-written reasons, okay, I don't think this movie gets enough credit for how well-written it really is, because I'll say everything is a loaded word. Seemingly, most of it seems to be laid out in a way that seems, I see it. And that's tough with a lot of lower budget Italian films. Sometimes things you just got to take for granted, or with a benefit of the doubt, and just move forward. Here's things seem, you know, there may be a couple, just a small minor things where you're left scratching your head a little bit going, how did that play out? And so you got this middle section where seemingly, and I don't want to give it away, but it's not that they're turning in on one another, but there's reasons where some of the members of the group start to be a little over cynical or suspicious, and wonder if they ought not to take things into their own hands, and at least bare minimum go retrieve their earnings, because quite frankly, trust is sort of not being taken for granted here. And these aren't obvious things. These are things that are laid out pretty interestingly. Now you get this middle portion that stretches out. You get another cast of characters that show up that play an important part in this movie, led by Margaux Hemingway, the granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, the great writer. She is a model, supermodel, led by Ollie Brocksmith, who is the famed photographer in this movie, plays Ollie. And I'm going to just throw this out there. Ollie may have the best death sequence in this entire movie, man. Some of the death sequences are sort of like, man, I wish I could have got more. I wish I could have got more in terms of the piranha. But Ollie, man, it is so unfortunate what Ollie got. Now, he is he's sort of, he reminds me of Charles Lawton, man, who plays Porterhouse on The Old Dark House from 1932. James Whale, maybe one of his best movies. He reminds me a lot of him. Now, Brocksmith is in quite a bit of stuff, man, moving forward. But man, his character is so energetic and over the top. Not really so over the top, but very energetic and really just fun to watch and listen to. And I think, so they come in to do a major shoot. Lee Majors' character and Margaux Hemingway's character, they sort of hook up. Sort of this flirting way, and they have some time together. And I would say she's probably the lesser of Margaux Hemingway. Lee Majors is fun for me, man, just because I grew up with him with the $6 Million Man. He has so much fun. But Karen Black and James Francisco, man, they really carry this movie, man. Now, Pesce, he's fun, man, for the time he's got in his brother. He doesn't really say, but Pastorini, too, man, as the driver, who is the ex-Houston Oilers quarterback from back in the day in the 70s, man. Dude, he's pretty good, man. You never know what you're going to get with these athletes sometimes. But he's fun. But Ollie, man, Ollie, I don't know, at times seems to steal the show. But Karen, man, and the way she carries Hemingway's character at times, man. There's one scene where they kind of sort of get into it. Okay, think about, and it's not as dramatic, but I was just thinking of Sid Haig and Raines there in House of Thousand Corpses. That moment, that scene in the beginning, where they have that moment where the one is just so freaking, what's the word, intimidating, right? Karen doesn't really come off as that as much, but she does. I mean, and it's funny. You have to wonder how Margaux Hemingway's character, or how Margaux kind of handled that, knowing that she was in that she had to deal with such a great actress opposite her. And so there's a lot of intrigue, man. It's just like Carl Denham's quote, man. There's money, there's adventure, there's fame to be had. It's the thrill of a lifetime. And so you get this great middle section, man, where a lot of stuff happens. But then this becomes a disaster flick, man. You get this cyclone or something, man. It might be the most shoddy effect of the entire movie, man. But thankfully, they don't have it on screen long. But, man, this cyclone comes ripping through, man. Ripping out the dam and just sending this water down below, man, with all the piranha. I'm okay, and I think you're kind of getting an idea, man. Margheriti really spared no expense here in this movie. He really packed in this, and it is so much fun, man. I think I'm just gonna say, Harper's criticism here, I think is not really justified. This movie, you can have a lot of fun, man, with this movie. You don't have to be a fan of Italian film. You really don't necessarily, because it's, even though it's an Italian, French, Brazilian production, it does appeal, I think, to American audiences. It was made, I think, for American TV audiences. I mean, it got a lot of TV airtime early on, right? And so, I mean, so unlike a lot of Italian films, it may actually appeal to you more than other Italian films would appeal to you, especially with Lee Majors in there. And I see I'm getting close to 15. So I think I've said enough. I think look, Killer Fish, man. Killer Fish. We're in 79 now with this. Actually, I think it has an earliest date of 78, but it gets released in 79. This movie is so much, I put it, man. This movie is so much freaking fun, man. I would almost say, if based on what I've said already, man, is enough to hook you, and you got it, man. You got the money to spend. 17 and change is a lot for a DVD, man. It might, you could probably find a stream. I didn't look to see if it was anywhere. You could probably pay, who knows, $1.99 or something on Amazon Prime to rent it or something. I would say definitely it's worth that. But I'm into physical media, so for me, it means more to me to actually have a copy. And when that Blu-ray comes up again, man, I'm probably going to grab that thing maybe as long as it's, within range. Anyways, episode 6, Killer Fish, Antonio Margheriti, man, Lee freaking Majors, man, Karen freaking Black, man, come on, good stuff, man. I'll just let you watch it, man, because I could ruin a lot, and I don't want to. I want to leave it at there, man. Oh, man, good times, man. Good times. I hope you're enjoying this Italian run, man. I think this is 6, so next one 7. I'm not sure. I'm struggling with maybe jumping into The Great Alligator next or Absurd. I'm not sure. Those two are the only two really just jumping at me at the moment. So I think we're good. I think I'm locked in. I think I'm going to run this out, man. As long as I can stay ahead of myself, I think I'm good to go, man. I appreciate the support, appreciate the view, the comments, all you guys bring to the table. Thank you for just supporting me. And, man, getting ready for my dogs, man, defending a championship this year, man. Or as Kirby says, it's not about defending, it's about just doing, right? And my Bills this year, picked to do, by many to do a lot. So ought to be a fun year for that. And a fun year as I dig deeper into Italian cinema. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.